as always. So as an executive leadership communication coach, I believe that communication is at the heart of effective leadership and personal and organizational impact. So I take my international clients the whole way from improved oral and written communication, including presentation skills, clarity of speech and business writing, to personal branding, executive polish, influence, and hopefully at the end, tremendous success and, as Julia mentioned, happiness. But what is underneath all that? Underneath it all, and most importantly, I help my clients gain a powerful voice. And everybody wants to have a voice in their organization and boost their confidence. So confidence is something that I found very challenging for international executives. And that confidence undermines what others see in you and undermines your success as you rise up the ladder. And that confidence translates in how others perceive you and how much impact you really have. So in terms of writing, concise, clear, and effective written communication is a challenge for most writers, and you're not alone. I'm married to an American, and I have to correct his English when he writes. And just a fun fact that Julia did not mention, English is actually my third language, one that I learned in my early 20s. And some of you may say, wait a minute, who are you to tell us how to write in English? You're not even a native born speaker. Well, let me assure you that I've been doing that probably for longer than some of you have been alive, number one. Number two, just by having to transition from one culture to another, it takes tremendous hunger and curiosity to learn a new language. And when you learn it from the ground up, it is already different. It is much stronger. You have bigger roots. And just to make sure that I solidify that knowledge, I received several master's degrees in that language. So very excited to be here. So native English, kind of going back to that, native English speakers find it difficult as well. So don't feel that you're alone. And of course, there is an added layer of complexity for non-native English speaking professionals, yet effective writing, excuse me, is an absolute must for success in business. Why? Primarily because most businesses today is conducted through writing. Regardless of the pandemic, it is not going anywhere. Well-written proposals lead to more business, leading to more revenue. Well-written memos, emails, and reports lead to better understanding and informed decisions. And then knowing how to write more effective and efficient pieces, whether it's email or presentations, definitely frees up your time, your energy for other activities. And let's face it, it reduces stress. So effective communication is one of the critical components and a criteria on your performance evaluation and in every company, and that includes your ability to write. So good writers are perceived as more credible and trustworthy. Through writing, you can be more influential. Think of persuasion skills and calls to action, more cooperation and collaboration. Good writing conveys the full extent of your expertise and knowledge. You may be incredibly smart. You may have all those great universities that you attended, but if you cannot communicate clearly, that knowledge is just yours and it's hidden. So I would like to help you unveil it, unmask it, and find it again. So what else does it do? Good writing also makes you visible and relevant. Basically, your good business writing skills.
Amala, do you want to share your deck too?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to share your slides as well?
I will share it in a little bit. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I just want to kind of introduce. I want to make sure that it's just there as words. I don't want people to get lost in the slides. So good writing really makes you visible and relevant. Basically, your good business writing is a value add to you and to your organization. So I will be sharing that PowerPoint momentarily, but VizWise and I have partnered, and thank you again, VizWise, to support you in your successful journey. And then today, I will take you through a couple of little points that you can just take from here and use it right away. So we're going to take a very big look, kind of global look on some of the writing challenges. And we will, please make sure that you put your comments in the chat. Today, it is much more theoretical. I'm going to guide you through the process, but the most important thing to remember is you cannot learn how to drive by reading about driving. You have to get on the road and drive and practice and have an instructor. And the same thing goes about learning how to write. So I encourage you and I welcome you to come and by exploring first some of the challenges and the nightmares of the business writing. And then I invite you to come and join the 8-week program that we're going to have. And with that, I am going to share my screen. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So wake up from the nightmare of business writing in English. It's time. So I would like you to now in the chat, please put a number that corresponds with what you find challenging. Is it grammar and vocabulary? Is it structure, tone, or confidence? So please put 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat. I would love to see what is there. 1 and 4, 1, 1, 1, 2. We have the whole tone. Okay. Lovely. Yes, tone, message, how, and so important just to make sure that the message that is received is the message that you intended. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oops. So here we go. Okay. So again, just to recap, why is good business writing important? Better business results, more revenue, informed business decisions. The more you know, the more people can follow you in your information, the better you're part of the decision making and the better decisions you can make. Your evaluation, trust and credibility, building your trust, and then you're visibly knowledgeable, and finally your confidence. So in here, I would like to share an experience of one of the participants from last program, if I may.
Hello everyone, my name is Mei Yu. I attend Camilla's class in June. Before joining her class, I often struggle on how to write the business emails effectively, such as the word of choice, the right tone, and the length of the message. After the class, I'm able to know how to draw the reader's attention by focusing on what is in them and using the bullet points, numbers, and the colors to highlight important information. I'm able to know how to use the right email structure in different situations. For example, am I trying to persuading someone with something, Or am I just trying to explain some situation to someone? And in each scenario, there's a different writing structure. In addition, I was able to know some common mistakes in the sentence structure, which is an area I really need improved as well. The class is a combination of teaching and practicing, but with a great emphasis on practicing. We as a group often spend most of the time write, edit, and rewrite until everyone on the group agreed to the final results. Since the class, I've seen great improvements in my writings. If you're someone wanting to continue to improve your business writing skills, I would highly recommend you to take this class. Thanks.
Okay. So we're going to take a look today, and I really appreciated that. I just received it a while ago. And we're going to take a look at 5 quick tips today. And by the way, just to mention, I was not able to catch everything you said in Chinese, Julia. So I don't know if you mentioned to people that they can post questions in the chat. And if you cannot do it in English, feel free to do it in Chinese, because my trusty assistant right here is just going to send it over to me in English. I hope, please. My Chinese is not good. Okay. All right. So today we're going to take a look at 5 quick tips. The first tip is the one, if you don't remember anything else, please remember that one. Write to express, not to impress. So please do not write to impress. Don't worry about your vocabulary. Use there to provide knowledge, information, persuasion, feelings, not to show how many beautiful words you took out of Webster Dictionary. Nobody cares. Okay? We're going to look at building relationships and gaining trust first and foremost. Then meeting your audience's needs, determining the best structure and organization for the purpose of whatever you're writing. And then finally, do not spend too much time on editing and proofreading. Edit and proofread. Don't spend a lot of time on rewriting and rewriting again. I'm taking that back. Okay. So remember one thing, people suffer from too much information and people forget fast. I'm going to say it one more time. People suffer from too much information and people forget fast. What did I just say? See, you already forgot. So we get bombarded with business emails. We have right now, especially, we're sitting by the computer, we're looking at Zoom, our eyes are boggling out. There's so much writing back and forth, about 40 emails a day, average in US business, 5 hours a day, average time spent on email writing. Please, in the chat, very quickly, tell me how much time you spend on writing a day. How many hours a day? 10 minutes. Oh, you're lucky. 2, I guess 2 means hours, 2 hours, 2 minutes, 10 minutes a day writing for work, 4 hours. Okay. So it really would depend if you're doing it for business, for pleasure, if you're just doing it for something else. But if you're in business, it's probably anywhere between 2 to 4 hours and sometimes more. Thank you, 3 to 4 hours. Thank you very much. So you see that a lot of time goes on writing it. So now I'm not going to even ask you how much time you spend on reading other people's emails. So Julia is laughing. Julia, how much time do you spend on reading other emails and just responding to them?
I lost count. There are just so many emails, sometimes system generated, and there are a lot of other requests and just keep coming in. Yeah.
So we have to be really mindful how we write the email so that the most effective and the most efficient. So I don't have to dig in whatever you're writing to find the information I'm looking for. Okay. So going to the first one, write to express, not to impress. 3 things that I need you to remember: concise, explicit, and clear. Concise, explicit, and clear. Meaning, don't make them guess. Make them see it right away. Be clear in structure and content so people don't have to look for it. So here is an example. Ishi is still waiting for your budget, and I'm going to move this for a second. Ishi is still waiting for your budget projections. Her deadline for submitting them to the CFO is around the end of April, and they require 2 weeks to review what you've recommended, so please send them on time. What? What are you talking about? I have to really sit and try to figure out, what is it that you're telling me? What is it about? And what is it that you want me to do? And then finally, when do you want me to do it? Wouldn't it be easier if I just had that? Hi, Lisa. Please submit your budget projection to EG by April 14th. Yes, thank you. I know exactly what I need to do by when. She needs 2 weeks to review your suggestions and must send the projections to the CFO by April 30th. Thank you. Now you're telling me why. Very quickly, thank you for your help. Beautiful. Take a look at the subject line, budget projection to Ishi by 4:15. Clear. Even if I don't read the email, I can say I'll read it later, but I understand it. Okay, if you hear these interesting noises, it's my computer that decides that I should be pressing different buttons to move it around, but it's not telling me which ones. Okay, here's another one. Please read it to yourself. These are all real emails. I did not make them up. Okay. All right. So very quickly, please tell me in 3 words, what is it that this is all about? What are you supposed to do, where, and why? Anybody? What are you supposed to do? Go through a training course. Yes. How long? Okay. No time, nowhere. 3 hours. Set study course. Okay. Very confusing. What if you saw this? What is the biggest difference? What do you need to do? Clear message. Thank you. Yes, this is a clear message. I know exactly what I have to do. My action item is there. I know what the reason is. I have space. I can visually see what's going on. All right. And okay. It gets better, guys. It gets better. Okay. Take a very quick look. So be clear, be concise. And here is oops. Hold on 1 second. Am I missing something in here? Shouldn't be. Uh-oh. I'm coming back to you. It looks like one of the points in here disappeared. So I'll come back to you with that one. Okay. And Julia, if you have the edited email for this slide, if you can just copy and paste it for me in the chat for people to see, I would very much appreciate that.
Sure, let me look for it. I didn't see it in today's version.
Okay, I thought it was there. Okay, so what's the next? So here is, again, I have so much information. It's all in one place. I have items that I want help with. I have all these different requests, but it's not clear. It's not jumping at me. And it's most probably something that I will put aside and I will not look at it again until the person bugs me and sends me another email. Okay. So let me put it back on. And the second tip that I have for you is establish your relationships and gain trust. So when you go to a supermarket, if you want to buy something, you need money. Is that right? That's the currency that you need in order to get something from the supermarket. In order for you to get cooperation and collaboration, the currency is trust. So you need to establish relationships and get trust. How do you do that? Let's look at it. Stronger relationships means that you understand each other better. You don't need as many words to explain what you want. And knowledge and trust means quicker response, better results, because people want to do things for you and with you. Doesn't matter if you have authority and title. Now, how do you go about establishing it? Who do you like to talk to usually? Who would you go and talk to again? Probably someone who listens to you, someone who considers your needs, someone who considers your communication style and then mirrors it. So if I am a direct communicator and I'm talking to an indirect communicator, I would probably need to know that that person may want me to ask them about their family first, or have some kind of chit chat or see what they did on the weekend before I go directly into business questions. If it's someone who is very formal, and I tend to be very informal, I will be conscious of their style and I will try to be as formal as they want me to be. So how do you decide and how do you find it? Observe and listen. Notice the emails that come to you and analyze that. Sometimes a little time spent before gives you a big foot in the door later. And one thing that I have noticed with my Chinese executives, my Chinese clients, professionally and personally, sometimes their speech sounds very choppy because it's just that Chinese pronunciation. And it sometimes translates into curtness in writing. It may be too brief or perceived as too sharp. And sometimes it's even perceived as rude, even though you may not have a rude bone in your body. Let's take a look at an example, real examples. Hi, Marina. I hope you had a great weekend at Lake George with your daughter. I would love to chat with you about your trip. I'm planning one for next month. Now back to business. Per our discussion last Friday, attaches the contract you requested. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to hearing all about your trip. Regards, Jasmine. What kind of style do you think that person has? Does she want to directly address business? Or does she want to have a little personal relationship in here? If you think she wants a little personal relationship, which of course she does, you're right. Notice the second one. Marina, attached is the contract you requested. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Best, Jasmine. Now, I, of course, changed the names, but these are real emails. Do you see the difference in style? Now, if by now you have any questions, please let me know in the chat box in English or in Chinese. Here is another example. Denise, are you sure you want to wait 3 weeks before our next meeting? That seems a bit long in between. Perhaps we could shoot for the week of the 16th. I'm afraid we won't have enough time to respond to the client before the deadline. Talk soon, Ahmad. I'm busy that week. I gave some dates times for next week if you wanted to do that, as well as May 11th, Denise. Real email. And the way I read it to you, my tone of voice, this is how I heard it in my ears when I read it. And even if you're a very, very sweet person, that did not come through. So please be aware of what it is. And you may say, well, it's business. It's just, it has to be really, I'm saving time, right? Yes, you are. If you meet my needs of communication, we probably will need less emails back and forth. Okay.
Kamala, there is a comment in the chat about the last example.
This one or the one before?
The one before.
Uh-huh.
So one of our audience commented that she cannot tell which one's better. But there's no really better between the two, right?
There is no better. It's just, this is just to show, great question. There is no better. It's just to showcase the different communication styles. One is very concise. It's very good, attaches the contract you requested. I'll be happy to answer any questions. It's a perfect email. Best, Jasmine, perfect. But if Marina is someone who needs you to ask establish a contact, a personal contact, that may be a good idea to begin with. Now, if this is someone that you communicate with all the time, back and forth, you cannot start talking about their family in every email, of course. But if it's someone that you're reaching out to after a week or 2 weeks, or someone that you need something from, maybe from a different company, then take that in consideration, that you need to take into account the other communication style. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, and another audience was commenting that, you know, even in business world, people are still people at the end of the day.
Absolutely. People are still people at the end of the day. Now, but still keep in really close contact to the style of the person that you're writing. You, especially if it is your boss, if it's someone that you communicate often with, make sure that you're flexing your style to better meet theirs. And I hope this this resonates. Okay. The third one that I'm going to share with you is meet your audience's needs. So we already touched upon it when we were meeting the audience's style. But what else do I mean by meeting the audience's needs? You need to also know who the reader is. Is it someone who is technical? Is it upper management? Is it a general population? So you need to make sure that your language corresponds to the level of technicality or the level of the hierarchy. So for the technical, go ahead and use all your tech language you know and want. Upper management, they probably want to know the bottom line, the big vision, and WIFM. This is a big key. WIFM means what is in it for me. So target the within. Upper management want to know what is it, how does the company benefit from it? They don't need to know all the details. So know how much detail you need to include and how much tech talk. Or if you're going to talk with general population with a lot of tech talk, now say that twice as fast, you're going to lose them. You're going to give them too much detail, too much technical terminology, and they're gone. They're no longer reading it or understanding you. Right. Number 4, here comes the structure. And one thing that I want you to remember is structure sets you free. What do I mean by that? Is once you decide what is the purpose of your writing, you now can decide how to structure your writing. If it's simple, informative writing, just follow this format. What are you talking about? What does it mean? So what? And what do you want me to do with it? Very simple. Or also in the United States, it's if you're going to be talking about it, tell me what you're going to talk about it, and then tell me what it is that you talked about. Whereas in writing, what are you talking about? What does it mean? And action plan. Don't leave at the end, don't leave me guessing, what do you want me to do with this information? Okay. Persuasion. If you want to convince someone to do something, notice I'm going to talk about the problem first. What is the effect of that problem? I'm going to now propose a solution. What is the effect of the solution? And now I'm going to call you to action. What do you want me to do? And what's very important, as you noticed in previous email, is that the visual organization is an absolute must. I should be able to very quickly see what it is that you're talking about. It could be colors, it could be bold font, whatever it is, make it easier on me as the reader. You'll get a quicker response. Okay. Hi, Sylvia. Please go ahead and read through that. Okay. So basically, the writer of this email, it really sends the reader on a hunt, on a search for information. Here it is. I'm going to give you everything right here, and you figure out what is it that I want you to do with it, and you pull out the important information. Please go ahead and contrast it with this. What is going on? What is the problem? I'm interested in doing this. This is what I need so that I can help this organization. What could you do to help me with that? Please help me do this, direct me to this. I look forward to hearing back from you, and that should be a lowercase l. Yep. All right. So what is the biggest difference that you see? How does it impact you as the reader? Please very quickly put a couple of comments in the chat. This versus this. Okay, easy to read, organized and clear. Number 2. The first one is confusing. Yes, the reader will spend less time. Perfect, love it. Thank you so much. Okay, moving quite along. So none of these work right now. So this is good now. Okay. Now, another thing that you need to be very careful about is subject lines. Subject lines is like giving your reader a key or not giving them a key. just telling them that the key is somewhere. So you're going to have to look for it before you open wherever you need to get in. So subject line is going to tell your reader what you need from them or what the topic is. It needs to be really, really clear and very specific. And every time many people are busy with it, make sure that the subject line changes when the content changes. Again, here is a subject line: change in schedule. Take a look at it visually and compare it with this. Again, this change in schedule. Oh, okay, great. What schedule? For what? For when? I'm changing team meeting on 6/1. It is not going to be on 5/28. Perfect. When? This, not that. And this is where this is where that mistake that we did not catch. So when? June 1st, not May 28th. Where? Building A, and that's it. Much better, isn't it? Okay. Number 4, determine your best structure and organization. And now it is PowerPoint. Please say yes or 1 if you have ever been to a presentation where the PowerPoint was just a killer. You couldn't see anything, or was too much in there. It was overbearing, and you couldn't even listen to the presenter because there was just so much visually. Okay, so and I think somebody asked me a good question before: is labeling the bullet points with 1, 2, 3, 4 too direct or rude? There is no one answer to that. It depends on what it is. If you're just providing information and it's kind of like a wide reaching email, I don't think so. Also, what's the point of 1, 2, 3, 4? Is it in order of importance? If there is no order of importance, I would just use bullet points. I reserve the 1, 2, 3, 4 if it's really either step by step or there is order of importance. There has to be a reason for numbers. Otherwise, I don't assign a value to it. I hope this is helpful. Okay, so determine best structure and organization. Remember, the PowerPoint is there to support the speaker, not the other way around. I don't create a PowerPoint and then talk about it. I have a topic, I want to talk about something, and I create a PowerPoint to support me with visuals. And therefore, I'm going to keep the text minimal because I'm going to be talking about it. And then make sure that you support it with images. Notice, I don't write everything in here that I'm saying. This is just for you to look at as something to hold on to, but I'm going to elaborate on that. And if there is nothing else that you remember, is that PowerPoint is there to support you, not the other way around. Okay. So here is an interesting one thing. If you are creating a PowerPoint, which you're not going to present orally, but you're going to send it, then you can use more information. So for example, here is a PowerPoint slide that was actually created by my daughter, who works for, at that point, she was working, I think this is from, no, this is from a company called First Dibs. She's a marketing manager for First Dibs, social marketing, social media marketing. And so this is a slide that she has prepared and that she was sending out. Notice it's just information. I asked her, what would it look like if she were to present it? And this is what she sent me. Now, she sent it to me very quickly, and she said that she would probably create more than 2 slides with it. But this is what it would look like, and then she would talk about it. It would not just be text and a lot of information. Notice how 164, 38 stands out in here. Notice how the person who is Richard Saja in here is the focus. And now your mind gets curious about it versus talking about him in here. And I have to sort of look through it to even find him in here. Oh, here he is, Richard Saja. So completely hidden inside of all that information. How are we doing?
I think good.
I think we're doing well. Okay. And my last point to you is don't spend so much time rewriting. Trust yourself. You are not there to impress with your language. You're there to convey information, and you're there to make it easy for other people. So edit, do not rewrite. The best way to go about it is actually taking a step back and planning it before you're doing it. Decide what your purpose is. Is it to inform? Is it to persuade? Is it just information? What structure does that dictate? Now I'm going to organize my main points. Is action needed? If so, what it is. Now go ahead and draft it, proofread it once, do not rewrite it, and don't let perfection be the enemy of the done, because we tend to just do it again and again and again. Now, if you want to learn more, if you really want to practice those skills, learn more about sentence structure and more about more complicated structures of writing and get very comfortable with it, I invite you to join me for our 8-week workshop, which is Business Writing for International Professionals, October 28th through December 16th.